The rain hammered against the windows of Thornfield Manor as Victoria Ashworth sorted through the day's correspondence. Her pearl necklace clicked softly as she moved, separating business proposals from charity solicitations with practiced efficiency. At 43, Victoria had built an empire in commercial real estate, and she protected her time as fiercely as her fortune. Mrs. Ashworth, her assistant Edward called from the doorway, "There's one more piece of mail. It's handwritten." Victoria glanced up, annoyed. "You know I don't read personal appeals, Edward. File it with the others." "Ma'am, I think you should see this one." Something in his tone made her pause. She extended her hand, and Edward placed a cream-colored envelope in her palm. The address was written in braille dots across the front, with a note in different handwriting below, "Please read aloud to recipient, written by Emma Torres, age 8. Victoria's jaw tightened. Another emotional manipulation, she thought. Still, curiosity got the better of her, and she slid open the envelope. "Dear Mrs. Ashworth. My teacher Miss Henderson is helping me write this because I cannot see the words, but they come from my heart. My name is Emma, and I live at Riverside Children's Home. I heard the grown-ups say you might buy our building and turn it into offices. I wanted to ask you not to, but I know you probably get lots of letters from people wanting things. I don't know what you look like, but I bet you're beautiful because you must be really smart to have so much money. My friend Carlos says rich people don't care about kids like us, but I don't believe that. I think maybe you just don't know about us. The home is where I live with 12 other kids. We don't have parents, but we have each other. Miss Rosa, our caretaker, reads to us every night. She does all the voices different, and even though I can't see her face, I can hear when she's smiling. Last week, I learned to navigate the whole downstairs by myself. I know the third step from the bottom creaks, and the kitchen door sticks a little. I know where the sunlight comes through the window in the afternoon because I can feel it warm on my face. This building knows me, and I know it. If we have to leave, I'll have to learn everything all over again somewhere new. I'm not scared for me, but Tommy is only 5 and he has bad dreams. Jenny just started to feel safe here after what happened to her. And Carlos acts tough, but he told me once this is the first place he's ever felt like he belonged. I'm not asking for money or toys. I'm just asking you to let us keep our home. But if you can't, I understand. I know you have important business to do. I still think you're probably a good person, even if we never meet. Thank you for reading my letter. Your friend, Emma." Victoria set the letter down, blinking rapidly. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for her coffee, but it had gone cold. "Edward," she said quietly, "get me the file on the Riverside property acquisition." "Right away, ma'am." Alone again, Victoria reread the letter. Such simple words, yet they'd slipped past every defense she'd built over decades in business. She thought of the building, a dated 3-story structure in a neighborhood she was transforming. The numbers made perfect sense. The zoning had been approved. Her investors were waiting. But all she could see now was a little girl counting steps in the dark, learning to navigate by touch and sound, building a map of safety in her mind. Victoria made a decision that surprised even herself. 3 weeks later, Victoria stood in front of Riverside Children's Home for the first time. The building was more rundown than she'd imagined, peeling paint, cracked walkway, outdated windows. Yet she could see the care in the small flower boxes, the chalk drawings on the sidewalk, the basketball hoop someone had clearly installed with love if not skill. Miss Rosa answered the door, a woman in her 60s with kind eyes and flour on her apron. "Mrs. Ashworth? We weren't expecting you." "I know. I should have called. I wanted to meet Emma." Miss Rosa's expression softened. "Come in." The interior was humble but spotlessly clean. Children's artwork covered the walls. Victoria could hear laughter from somewhere upstairs, the sound of a television, the ordinary chaos of a home. "Emma." Miss Rosa called. "Someone's here to see you." A small girl appeared at the top of the stairs, one hand trailing along the banister. She had dark hair pulled into 2 braids and moved with careful confidence. In her other hand, she held a white cane. "Hello?" Emma called out. "Is that Mrs. Ashworth? You sound fancy." Victoria surprised herself by laughing. "I suppose I do. May I come up?" "The 3rd step creaks," Emma warned as Victoria climbed. "I told you about that in my letter, remember?" "You did." Victoria deliberately stepped on the 3rd stair, and it creaked obligingly. "You were right." When she reached the landing, Emma tilted her head, listening. "You smell like flowers. Expensive flowers." "It's my perfume," Victoria admitted. "Emma, I came to tell you something important. I've decided not to buy your building." Emma's face lit up with a joy so pure it made Victoria's chest ache. "Really? Really truly? Really truly? But I'm going to do something else instead." Victoria had spent 3 weeks working out the details with her lawyers and accountants. "I'm going to buy it anyway, but I'm going to renovate it and set up a trust fund to maintain it. It will stay a children's home, but it will be a beautiful one. New windows, safe stairs, updated everything. And I'm going to make sure it can never be sold for development." Miss Rosa gasped from the bottom of the stairs. Emma reached out tentatively, and Victoria took her small hand. "Why would you do that?" the girl asked. Victoria knelt down, her designer skirt pressing against the worn carpet. "Because you reminded me of something I'd forgotten. That some things are worth more than money. That home isn't just a building, it's the creaky stairs you know by heart, and the people who read to you with different voices, and the sunlight that finds you in the afternoon." Emma threw her arms around Victoria's neck. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." As Victoria held the child, tears finally spilling down her cheeks, she felt something shift inside her. For years, she'd measured success in quarterly earnings and property values. But this feeling, was worth more than all of it. 6 months later, the renovated Riverside Children's Home reopened with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Victoria had overseen every detail: wider hallways with tactile guide strips for Emma, a reading room with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, a playground with adaptive equipment, and a community garden where the children could learn to grow vegetables. The building was still in the neighborhood Victoria was developing, but now it stood as its heart rather than its casualty. She'd restructured her entire project around preserving the home, and surprisingly, her investors had responded positively to the story. Emma stood beside Victoria during the ceremony, holding her hand. "Can you describe it to me?" Emma asked. "How does it look?" Victoria smiled, watching the other children explore their transformed home. "It looks like hope," she said. "It looks like love with a fresh coat of paint. It looks like a place where you'll always belong." "Good," Emma said, squeezing her hand. "Because you'll always belong here too now. Your family." Victoria Ashworth, who had spent her adult life building walls, finally understood what it meant to build a home.